Hello everybody, this is Professor Chandana Goswami from Tezpur University, and today we will be talking about cash and liquidity management. Our motives for holding cash would either be a transaction motive, precautionary motive, or a speculative motive. The transaction motive is when there is non-synchronization of cash flows, which leads to the necessity of creating a buffer. This means that you may have your inflows, say you expect about 120 crores to come in, but you are expecting an outflow of 150 crores. So there is a gap, all right, and there is no matching in these inflows and outflows. Therefore, it is necessary that you create a buffer. The second is the precautionary motive. This is when there is uncertainty about the magnitude and timing, for which again you have to create a buffer. Magnitude, it means the amount, and timing means when it is going to come in. So if your amount and timing does not match in terms of the inflows and outflows, you will still again have to create a buffer and hold cash. So this is precautionary motive. The third is a speculative motive, where we are trying to tap into the opportunities that arise from the fluctuations in prices, interest rates, exchange rates, etc. And we will try to get benefit from that. For example, if the prices of raw materials go down suddenly and you would like to buy in bulk, then you must have cash available with you. All right. And if the exchange rates are favorable towards you and you would like to buy some, then you need cash in hand for this. So this is the speculative motive. While holding cash ensures liquidity, we must understand that it is an idle resource. It is not earning us anything. And because we hold cash, we are not availing alternative investment opportunities, and therefore the company forgoes profit. Thus, as a finance manager, you should establish reliable forecasting and reporting systems. You should improve cash collections and disbursements and achieve optimal conservation and utilization of funds. So these are the things that we will be discussing. Reporting system, you can have three kinds of reporting system: a daily cash report, a daily treasury report, or a monthly cash report. So in a daily cash report, we are just focusing on the cash part. Every day you will look at the opening balance, find out how much of receipts, that is the inflow, find out how much of payments, that is the outflow, and what is the closing balance at the end of a day. In a daily treasury report, it is not only cash but near cash kind of assets. So therefore, it provides a comprehensive picture of the changes in the cash position, in our marketable securities, debtors position, and creditors position. The third is the monthly cash report, where you will look at the actual cash receipts and payments on a monthly basis. And this has to be compared with the budgeted one. Already you must have prepared a cash budget, so you will compare with that and see where is the variance and how it needs to be addressed. Then we have to understand what is an optimum cash balance. How much of cash you should hold. Please understand, how much of cash we should hold depends on the things that will it be more or less, and this is in comparison to how much of marketable securities. Marketable securities are not cash, but they can be converted into cash very easily. So if you hold more of cash, you will have less of marketable securities. If you hold more of marketable securities, you will have less of cash. There are two kinds of cost associated here. One is a transaction cost and the other is a opportunity cost. So these two total up and we have what is known as a total cost. So when the cash balance increases, you can see that this transaction cost is reducing. Okay, Because you have more of cash, it is understood you have less of marketable securities, which means that you do not have to convert the marketable securities into cash. But when cash is more, if you keep on holding more cash, the opportunity cost goes up. This opportunity cost is the cost of foregoing earnings by investing it somewhere. Alright, because you're holding on to cash, so therefore you are losing out on profit making investments. So these two together will comprise your total cost, and you have this place where your total cost is at the lowest. This forms our optimum cash balance. So this is the trade-off that any finance manager will have to make. Once we have surplus funds with us, we need to understand where to invest. So we have three categories defined. One is a ready cash segment, the second is the controllable cash segment, and the third is the free cash segment. So in a ready cash segment, we are making investment in highly liquid assets so that unanticipated operational needs can be met very quickly. Please keep in mind this word, unanticipated operational needs. You do not know what kind of requirement will come up, so therefore you need to hold on to highly liquid assets. In a controllable cash segment, it is that part of the investment portfolio which is meant to meet the predictable cash outflows. You have predictable cash outflows, like you know when dividend is going to be paid, in which month and how much. And you will also know that how much of tax has to be paid in which month and how much. So these are predictable. So therefore you will make investments in such a way that you will get that desired amount in the desired month. So this is the controllable cash segment. The third one is a free cash segment, which is meant for none of these above, not anticipated, not predicted. Okay. So these investments are done in short-term instruments to generate income without much concern for liquidity or maturity. But if required, you can kind of convert it back into cash again. So when you make an investment, you must have some criteria for evaluating the investment instruments. We look into four important factors. It is the safety, liquidity, yield and maturity of that instrument. So in case of safety, we would like to know what is the probability of getting back the invested amount. Can I get back my principal? Second is liquidity. So it is the ability to convert the instrument into cash at a short notice and without incurring loss. So if you have the financial instrument, overnight you should be able to convert it into cash, alright, and you should not lose out much on the principal amount or the interest. Third is the yield. Yield is referred to as the return which is earned by way of interest or dividend and capital appreciation. Alright, so if I invest in a financial instrument, I will get a dividend if it is a share, or I will get interest if it is a debenture, plus the capital appreciation will happen if the price of that instrument goes up in the market. So the interest plus capital appreciation is referred to as yield. And finally, the maturity. What is the life of the instrument? We have our investments, which some we need within 1 month, some we need within 2 months, because we have to meet outflows. So accordingly, we will select instruments whose maturity is matching with our outflow requirements. Keeping the thing in mind, we will now understand what are the investment options that a company can have. It can put in term deposits with banks, which is very, very safe. or it can invest in mutual funds. Third, treasury bills. Treasury bills are sold by RBI. So if the treasury bill value is say 1000 rupees, it is sold at a discount. Suppose you say 950 rupees. And then it is redeemed at par after a particular number of days. Okay. So if it is sold at discount at 950 rupees and the face value was 1000, it is going to be redeemed at 1000 rupees. And this 50 that you earn extra is the benefit. You can also buy commercial papers. So these commercial papers are short-term unsecured promissory notes, and they are issued by financially strong companies. So when financially strong companies would like to borrow money for a short-term basis, and if you have surplus funds, cash, you can always lend it to them. All right, and then you get what is known as a promissory note. So therefore, these are commercial papers which can be viewed as an investment option. And similar kind of thing which is done by the bank, it is referred to as a certificate of deposit. The last one is a ready forward. So here we are saying a security dealer does a repurchase deal. So one who is trading in securities, if he needs money, he will come to a cash rich company and say that these are the securities that I am giving to you. Alright, in lieu of that, you will give me X amount of funds, and after 7 or 10 days, whatever is the time period, I will take back the securities from you, and whatever amount you have given me, I will add another 10% to that. Okay, so therefore a company can invest in ready forward also. So these are the investment options. So this concludes the first part. We will have another part where I will show you how to do the cash budgeting. Thank you so much for tuning in.